know if I'm going to post this or not, but let's get started. So, I'm sure you guys have heard about the Marine Corps banning the Confederate flag. I think most of the military branches have banned the Confederate flag at this point. They may ban the pirate flag next. I heard something about that. Something I found very interesting. I guess they were doing something for Pride Month, and they had this thing said Pride, and there was a Marine in combat uniform running. He stood as the I in the Pride, and it was showing different pictures. This is the 10-year anniversary of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Obama getting rid of it. People just completely lost their minds on Facebook behind it. Marine Corps going soft and things like that. And someone made a statement about how is this not political? First of all, let's talk about it. When white people use that term that people are becoming political, you've got to understand what that means. Because before, when I used to hear that when I was growing up, I didn't get that. If you're a white man, especially in the South or the Midwest, you don't have to get political. You don't. Unless there's something going on in your local area as a white man, or your taxes or something is going on, you don't have any need to get political. Historically, you don't. For the mass of white people. I'm not talking about white trash, not to white folks who live in poor areas, not talking about that. They don't have to study history because George Washington, you got that paper called the Constitution. I mean, as a Caucasian, this country was made and set in your image and likeness thereof. I talked about Michael Brooks, talked about how he used to do documentaries on Arthur St. Cora, Patrice Lumumba, A. Philip Randolph, FDR, these different socialist things. He talked about Dr. King. And if you're black, it benefits you to look at that stuff because that gives you an idea of the history. But if you're not black, if you're Caucasian, there's no benefit because you probably don't benefit in society changing. The poor whites do. If you live in an area where you're getting pollution, you do. If you're concerned about climate change, and if you're concerned about declining resources in the future, you do. But a lot of white people don't. I've talked about this before, how I'm at the point now to where I see white boycotts as just a part of the march towards human betterment. Like that's just if you're not getting white boycotts, if people aren't threatening you with white boycotts, you're probably not doing things right, because for them, they don't want body cams. They didn't want dash cams back in the day. So there are people that are against that. They're against any kind of progressive thing. They're against any kind of sunshine or transparency in government or whatever. They're against any of that. They're against releasing police disciplinary records. And I was reading on Police One earlier, you had this guy talking about how does it benefit you learning about the guy in McDonald's? That's a horrible example. The guy at McDonald's doesn't have the right to stop me on the road. The guy at McDonald's doesn't have the right to deprive me of my freedom. The guy at McDonald's can't bust on my door right now and say his job gives him the right to come in here and arrest me and possibly assault me or kill me and then search my fucking apartment. And also, the guy at McDonald's is not an officer of court. So if he goes to court, if he does something to me, he goes to court, he has no more power than I do. Yeah. So none of that means anything. But this is the mindset. This is the rhetoric. It's all about whataboutism. It's all about the turd in the punch bowl, polluting the conversation, polluting the discussion, the discourses. This is it. for gay people in the military, yeah, they tolerate you. But for a lot of them, you're still not respected. And that has not changed, and you should acknowledge that. There were a lot of people that got in the military back in the day, the blue discharges, administrative discharges back in the day, firing people they didn't like in World War II. That happened. So when they tell you you're becoming political, talking about gay people in the service and gay people in the military, gay people who have lost their lives fighting in the military, what they're basically telling you is, shut the fuck up. I don't care about you. I don't respect you. I mean, that it goes back to that great forgetting of what has been done to minorities in this country. I'm not saying that, make a big deal about this, but I just want to speak on that. Just this hatred anytime. Oh, there was a guy on there that was talking about how, hey, we have Asian Rights Month, we have Black Months, we have, things like that. He doesn't understand something. They don't like that either. Yeah. he doesn't get that. They don't like that either. These are people who think the white man, its natural place, is at the center of things, and everybody else operates around them. They weren't okay. See, one thing about Trump that I realize is that as we have progressed as a society, there's a lot of people that have not come along with us for the ride. They're in America, but they're kind of like, if we had a road trip and we're on a bus and some woman brings her son and her son doesn't want to come along, that's them. And he's like whining and stuff. That's them. That exists in America. And that's one thing Trump showed me, that we think that we've moved beyond racism. We think that we've moved beyond homophobia and sexism and all that. Nope. Not at all, buddy. Not at all. You can think that if you want to, And that's what I've learned with Trump and his rhetoric and all the Gestapo-esque things he's doing right now. That you've got people who are so angry that society is not setting their image and not in control, and they want things to go back to normal. And that's what Trump plays to with the climate change denial. That's what all this is. He plays to that type of demographic, if you will. Not just white people. It's blacks that are homophobic too. It's Hispanics like that. It's a lot of people who just don't like change. And I'm the first one to acknowledge I don't like the way America's changed. I don't like where we're at right now in the country. I don't like the fact that we've been at war for all this time. I don't like the fact that, you have these cuts going to social safety net. I don't like the fact that we're about to have a probable depression. I don't like any of that. But the social change they don't like. They really feel like women are supposed to be kept down. You have people like that, and that's what I read on that little site. I think that was pretty cool. Also, it's the realization that the military has got to keep up with society. They do. Some people say they should lead society. Maybe they should. I don't know about that. But we have a society that is hopefully, we'll see with this election, trying to move in a more egalitarian movement or direction. We have a society where there are more gay people, or they're more out now. We have a society that, thinks very differently than what their forebears took for granted. And I think that the military, if you want people to continue going in your military, they've got to acknowledge that this isn't the 50s, this isn't the 60s, this isn't Full Metal Jacket anymore. That kind of shit don't fly no more, nor should it. And that's the kind of stuff you're looking at there. I think people have to understand that if you're mad about the Marine Corps putting up Pride and celebrating Pride Month, you have an animus towards just the greater society, the greater social society that's in play within the country right now. That's what's going on there. That's the only thing I can find to justify what I saw on there. And I'm not a little boy. I'm a big boy. Okay. You know, homophobia, racism, something new to me. It is what it is. I'm at the point now to where I feel kind of bad for them. It's also a lesson to me. When I look at this stuff, I learn from it. It's kind of like going to a third world country and meeting people who don't understand cleanliness or the importance of, taking care of their health. It's like that to me. It's like, oh, so this is how you think. I don't really get offended by it because I realized how far behind that mindset really is. So, peace, y'all.